Elevate! Spielberg, baby! How are the kids?
Hey Centennial, welcome back to the Loft, episode 23, Digital Learning Day edition.
It's a great Friday here at Centennial.
I've got another delicious episode for you this week on Bite Sized.
Mr. Zach? Right in here. Well, okay, Zach, what's the problem are you having?
I mean, I can't get up in the morning. It's hard, I guess.
Okay. Well, let's do an exercise, and I want you to close your eyes and tell me, what do you hear when I say the word awake?
I hear the grinding of coffee beans.
What do you see?
I see a red cup and energy.
Interesting. What do you smell?
I smell coffee.
Coffee.
Coffee Island! Thank you, doctor. Oh my gosh.
I'm a gummy bear. Yes, I'm a gummy bear. Oh, I'm a yummy, tummy, funny, lucky gummy bear.
Hey, my name is Leonard Cabrera, also known as Moonrock. I first started producing probably about 2 years ago. I first started producing on Audio Tool, and then I just used loops, and then I was like, yeah, this is pretty cool. So I was like, let me learn how to like actually make my own stuff and like learn sound design. And if you're interested in becoming a producer or just starting, all you need is like a computer, and there's plenty of free producing software, DAWs, that you can download or even just use on like a web browser. Still, like if you're starting off and you want to just learn and try to like go easy into it, that's one of the ways that you can do it.
My name's Jordan. And I'm Brianna. We're from Beta Club. Stop bullying and be the boys. Be the boys. Ew. Can you please throw that?
Our high school soccer team one year, the guys' soccer team had a really poor season. They ended up losing, I think, every game except for one, and they lost a lot of the games by 12-0, 10-0. Their keeper wasn't supposed to be a keeper. This was his first time playing. Their actual keeper had a back injury. And some guy on the team decided it would be funny to put a compilation on Facebook of pictures of him letting goals in, which he thought was funny, but I think the kid found it really hurtful that, you know, I think every time they scored, he felt like it was his responsibility, which if you know anything about soccer at all, you don't get 13 goals in because your goalie's weak. You got to get 13 people past your forwards, your midfield, your defense, and into the goal. It was not that kid's fault. He shouldn't have been scored on nearly that many times. And I'm sure out of the 13, it was probably him defending 1 out of 3, so he probably was scored on 30 times. But this kid decided to put this picture up, and I think what happened was one of the guys, the older guys in the team, saw the effect on the goalkeeper. I think he started crying. I don't think he was crying, but I think he was very unhappy during a practice, and made his profile picture a picture of the guy catching a goal and put something like, "We are all Daniel Quee" on his Facebook picture. And what happened was the whole girls soccer team, we did it as well. We made it all our profile picture. Half the guys' team ended up putting it as their profile picture. I think by the end of it, there was like 100, 200 kids that made this one picture of him catching the goal their profile picture. And I think for him, it was like this huge self-esteem booster, because I think it was terrible. I think he felt like the whole season was on him. And the whole team had played badly. They all had things to work on, and he felt it was like all his fault. So it was nice to see this whole community of people saying, it's not your fault. We all mess up sometimes. Just something, as little as everyone changing their profile picture, how quickly that just, the same way that, social networking can spread very negative things, it can also spread very positive things really quickly.
Here's Marley and Caleb for the Oscar review.
Hey Centennial, the Oscars happened last Sunday, and we're here to break down the nominees and the winners.
Nominations for Best Original Screenplay were Lady Bird, The Big Sick, The Shape of Water, Get Out, and this year Jordan Peele won for Get Out. This is his first Oscar, and he's really proud to have won for his screenplay for this movie.
The nominees for Best Animated Film this year were pretty lacking. The only big names were The Boss Baby and Coco. So obviously Coco came home with the award, seeing as it was by far the best animated film of last year.
The Best Actor category was another difficult decision, with Timothée Chalamet, Daniel Kaluuya, Denzel Washington, Daniel Day-Lewis, and Gary Oldman for The Darkest Hour, who took home the prize for Winston Churchill.
The Best Actress category was by far the most star-studded, with nominees like Saoirse Ronan, Margot Robbie, Meryl Streep, and Sally Hawkins, who I thought should have won the prize, but Frances McDormand came home with the Oscar, for her performance in 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
The Best Picture nominees were Get Out, The Post, Call Me By Your Name, Lady Bird, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, Phantom Thread, Dunkirk, Darkest Hour, and The Shape of Water.
Lady Bird was by far the best of these nominees in my opinion. That did such a good job portraying a real high school atmosphere, and it was really relatable, and you could connect on it with so many levels. And it was Greta Gerwig's first solo directing debut, and she did a phenomenal job, and I was really sad to see it not come on with any awards, so I'm looking forward to see what she makes in the future.
I can agree that I do think Lady Bird should have won. I'm also a big fan of Call Me By Your Name by Luca Guadagnino, but I do agree that Lady Bird was by far the best. It was just super relatable and showed a great dynamic between a daughter and a mom, and I think it's something that should have been kind of pushed a little bit more. But the ultimate winner was...
Look at my down. Look at my down. Look at my down. Look at my down. Look at my down.
Come on, man. Come on. Give me my money back, man. God.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Vaughn. I teach 10th grade World History and AP Human Geography to 9th graders and 12th graders here at Centennial. I've been here since 3 weeks after the school opened. I love to read and had a really hard time picking a favorite book, but the book that I'm going to talk to you about today is Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. And here's an excerpt from Born a Crime. They probably knew she was lying, but they accepted it because they needed an explanation. Under apartheid, the government labeled everything on your birth certificate: race, tribe, nationality. Everything had to be categorized. My mother lied and said I was born in Kadangwane, the semi-sovereign homeland for Swazi people living in South Africa. So my birth certificate doesn't say that I'm Xhosa, which technically I am, and it doesn't say that I'm Swiss, which the government wouldn't allow. It just says that I'm from another country. The book is about Trevor Noah's life growing up as a mixed-race man in South Africa, and I really wanted to recommend it for my AP Human Geography classes, but there's so much profanity in it that I couldn't. But it's a really great book.
Work, 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 work. Let's check in with our man on the street.
Is water wet?
No.
Why?
Because water is water. Water makes things wet, but like, water can't be wet.
Yes,
Why?
because it's water. Like, no,
Why?
because it's action. The action, like when the water touches, is wet.
I don't know. Can you at least try?
Give me a different question.
Water is wet. People are like, oh no, because
No, it isn't. It's not wet.
Why?
Because wet is like an attribute. Like water can't be wet because you have to be like covered in water.
Water is wet.
No, it isn't.
Water is not wet, but anything touching water is wet.
Yeah, it's definitely wet because if you think about it, H2O is water, and H2O is wet. So yeah, it's wet.
So that was it, Centennial. So next time you see this white table and me sitting here, come up and see what questions I have for you.
Prom is coming up on March 24th at the Atlanta History Center from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. You may also purchase tickets online from the payment portal found on the chsnights.com website. For more information, go to bit.ly/chsprom18.
Let's go!
What are you guys doing?
He's asking someone to prom and I'm filming it.
You can record it from that side. Eva, will you go to prom with me?
Oh my god. Yes. That is so cool. Oh my god. Oh my god. Thank you. Oh my god. What? Aww. That's so cute.
Bye.
What's wrong?
My dad told me a joke.
What was it?
Circles are ridiculous. They have no point.
I feel sorry for you.
Thanks. Where's the point? Where's the point? Where's the point? Where's the point?
My name is Rebecca Vaughn. I teach AP Human Geography and World History. I have been at Centennial since 3 weeks after it opened, and I choose to teach World History because I love it, and I think it helps explain why the world is the way the world is today. And I teach AP Human Geography because it helps to build knowledgeable global citizens. My favorite thing about teaching is the light bulb moment, when you can tell students really get it and understand why something is so important.
What's up, Centennial? It's Molly Heiser, and I'm your host of Yesterday's Weather Today, where we predict weather you've already experienced. Today is Thursday, March 8th, 2018, which means that if you're watching this on a Friday, then this is actually yesterday's weather. If you're watching this on a Thursday, then I'm not predicting yesterday's weather. And if I can't predict yesterday's weather, then what's this all been about? What am I working toward? Today is partly cloudy with a 0% chance of rain. It's a high of 47 degrees and a low of 28 degrees. Not a max to confirm the weather.
It is not partly cloudy. I do not know how you can get the weather wrong when it has already happened, but it is fully cloudy, not partly cloudy. So, yeah. And cold.
Thank you, Max. According to the Weather Channel, tomorrow it's going to be a little warmer, partly cloudy with a 0% chance of rain. That's all we have for you this week, Centennial. I'm Molly Heiser, and you've been watching Yesterday's Weather Today.
Traven!
Hey guys, Jahari here. Normally on Movie Review, I would go ahead and do the review myself, but today I brought a little guest. Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Keith Holmes, and I've written the book on Holy Grail, which you can find in the library at the school. And today I'm going to help Jahari out. While it was one of the best movies of the year, Black Panther unfortunately had several holes. We're talking more holes than a golf course here. One of the largest being T'Challa leaving his technology in the field after battle. Wakanda is supposed to be the world's best kept secret, but that would mean not leaving your technology everywhere for people to find. There's also the issue of Shuri, despite all her great inventions, not having a failsafe in case someone steals a Panther suit. That, and there's no backstory for Shuri's intelligence. I found the scenes to be both stunning and expansive. It was kind of unfortunate that we only got a few in Wakanda, and I wanted to see more of the actual country and the everyday lives of the people, besides a small market scene. Despite that, the movie was great to look at, and I would watch it again. My rating, due to continuity issues, but also a stellar set and cast, is 8.75 out of 10.
Appreciate having you here, Keith. Is that all you got?
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Hey Centennial, welcome to This Week in Sports. On Saturday, the Atlanta United was defeated by the Houston Dynamo with a final score of 4-0 in their season opener. With the beginning of March comes the beginning of March Madness. This popular event in the United States is scheduled to be held from March 13th to April 2nd. Last year, North Carolina defeated Gonzaga in the NCAA College Men's Basketball National Championship with a final score of 71-65. With their win last year, North Carolina is attempting to defend their title. That's all I have for you this week, Centennial. Tune in next week for more.
Let's go to Max and to Kyra with CSPN.
Let's go. What's up, Centennial? I'm Max Abel, and you're watching CSPN.
Come out to the soccer game versus Chattahoochee today. Today, the varsity tennis plays Northview. Both the girls and boys tennis made it to finals but lost to Forsyth 2-3. The lacrosse boys beat North Cross 22-1. The boys will go on their King of Spring tournament today versus Apex and Bishop tomorrow. Today, the girls go against Harpet. Baseball picked up a victory on Monday versus Chattahoochee, beating them 1-0. There's a track meet at Mill Creek tomorrow.
Thanks for tuning in. That's all we have for you this week, Centennial. You've been watching CSPN.
Thanks.
Muslims